All right, welcome back everyone to the Conservative Bunker, and we have a very special guest here today. His name is Nick Garver. He's a conservative, a good friend of mine on Facebook, a family man, and we are going to talk about Trump today and who knows what else. So thanks a lot for being here today, Nick, and how's it going with you?
Hey, thanks for having me on the Conservative Bunker, Ed. Really appreciate it. It's going pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah, going really, really good. I just saw today, you might have noticed this, that Kanye West was in the Oval Office today. Did you see that?
Yeah, I had heard they're going to have lunch, him and Trump.
Yeah, I just watched the video of it, of him speaking. Did you see the video of him talking back and forth to him, what he had to say to him?
I saw maybe a little snippet of a clip here or there. I didn't watch the full thing yet. I usually watch all my political stuff in the evenings.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Uh,
Well, I watch it. I watch it in the morning, then I take a break, and then I go in the evenings
right.
too. I like to see what comes up. Well, our time zones are so different. I don't know if that matters, but I like to
Well, we
see
got
what
like a
comes
3 hour
up.
difference, I believe.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
in
yeah,
Eastern
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. It's like 1 o'clock here now, and it's like 4 o'clock there. But
Yes, yes.
the main thing that I saw about it was that he wanted like he did most of the talking, which was funny, which I guess because he's all excited being in the Oval Office and everything. But
Right.
the one thing I wanted to say was at the end, you know what I mean? Trump didn't expect him to like he didn't want to be like Kanye loves me or everything like that. He didn't want to assume that at the end, and then Kanye reassured him and said, "No, no, no, don't worry, Trump. I do love you. I do." And he got up and he actually hugged him and everything right in the Oval Office, right? So I thought
Right.
that was kind of neat. So that's it's confirmed. He really does. It's not a political stunt. He said it was from the heart. But what I want to ask you is why do the liberals think that all of a sudden Kanye West has lost his mind and he's crazy? Why? Just because he loves Donald Trump? Why do they think that?
Well, they're very scared of Kanye. Um, once somebody of his status kind of gets out of the Democratic plantation,
Yeah.
they really start to worry. He's getting out of his lane, and they want him to come back. Did you see on CNN they were saying all sorts of racial slurs about him, calling him saying Negro? This is what happens
Oh,
when Negro
I've
can't read.
seen. Oh yeah, I've heard that all the time, and they're gonna keep plugging away at that, which is crazy because like they all loved his music. He's like multiple, musical award winning, blah blah blah. We love Kanye. Who doesn't love Kanye? And then all of a sudden he says he loves Trump, and all of a sudden it's just, oh yeah, now your music sucks, and you're an Uncle Tom, and blah blah blah.
Well,
That's
right. Well, back in the I think early to mid 2000s when Kanye was really starting to catch his stride. I remember them saying that Kanye West is the smartest rapper that there is,
yep.
and now they're
That's a
saying
quote.
that Negro can't read. Or, I mean, these people are just they're chewing their own up. I think,
Yeah,
in
that's
my
no, no,
opinion.
that's not your opinion. That is a fact because what I like to get across to people is like look at like you're exposed. They look like they're exposing themselves for what like you look. I don't want to use the word stupid, but I mean you do look stupid. Who can look at them and be like not know what you're doing? Like it's pretty blatant obvious what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like the flip all of a sudden. If you don't think like them, you don't or you're not on their, you know, political side, whatever you want to call it, then all of a sudden you're cast out. You're this, you're that, you're blah blah blah. And I don't think that the general American population, I don't want to speak for all of them, but I don't think that they're really falling for that anymore. I mean, you'd have to be pretty stupid to see that as well. So I really don't get it.
Well, the Democrat Party claims to be the party for minorities and gays and transgenders.
Uh-huh.
But when one of them speaks out of turn, notice they're the first to attack them.
Yeah.
For instance, Lindsey Graham, who is believed to be gay, I'm not sure if he is or not. Don't care. Whatever. Once he had that eruption at the Brett Kavanaugh hearing,
Yeah.
you heard all the celebrities and Hollywood and pundits on
Oh yeah.
news coming out and attacking him for being gay. It's the same thing with Kanye. They completely contradict everything that they say they stand for. Really, all they want is power, in my opinion.
No, that's true.
They don't
That is
care who they
true.
have to step on to get it.
And you know what? want to put it on record right now to say that Lindsey Graham is now officially my favorite like senator of all time. When I watched what he said, he sounded so, it was almost poetic. You know what I mean? Like when you listened to how he talked and what he was talking about, and the biggest thing that hit home, I think, was if you want to change things, if you want to change legislation, if you want to make laws, if you want to sign bills, if you want to put justice, if you want to put judges on the Supreme Court, you have to win an election. The Democrats did not win. So why should you have a say in any of this? Why should you have a say of what judge does or does not get picked to go on the Supreme Court? You didn't win. You did not win. So, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, wow, you know, I'm like, finally, you know, like they have to hear that, you know, like no one can interrupt him. You should hear oh my God, you should hear our politics over here in Canada, man. I can't even stand it anymore. Have you ever actually listened to, you know, the conservatives and the liberals get up and actually talk here in Canada? They just yell at each other. Nothing gets done. It's ridiculous. They interrupt each other. They yell at each other. And all you hear is the guy in the background banging on the gavel going, order, order, order. And they just keep yelling at each other. Nothing ever gets done. It's actually quite funny. But yeah, Lindsey Graham is hands down my favorite by far now.
Yeah, he had his Spartacus moment, as Cory Booker would say.
Big time.
Even though Cory Booker's Spartacus moment was pretty weak and embarrassing compared to Lindsey Graham's, but that just goes to show how hypocritical the Democrats and the liberals really are.
Yeah.
They will attack anyone who does not think like them.
Yeah, and I think, you know, like I don't expect things to all of a sudden, like these are such huge political and social shifts, especially in America, that I don't think this stuff's going to happen overnight. But you can see the ebb and flow of it. But you can see it's I don't want to use the word blue wave, red wave, but you can see the red wave getting bigger. You know, like people are more getting woke up. People are not listening to the mainstream media anymore. They've proven themselves to be a fraud time and time again. What I think they have correct me if I'm wrong, they have a 95% negative coverage of the president of the United States now, like CNN, NBC, ABC, whatever. Is that correct? 95% negative coverage.
I believe I saw yesterday it was 93.
Wow.
But still 93%. That's
you might as well say 100%.
Yeah, it's pretty much 100%. Yeah. I mean, the 7% might be Fox.
What? That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, yeah. What? You tell me, okay? Because you know I have my own theories about it. But you tell me, why do you think that Fox is completely different than all the other networks? Why are they like, they're not total Trump supporters? I think that they're fair, but they're not going along with the narrative. Why is that?
I believe they didn't have a choice. There needed to be a conservative niche in the market, and they took that. But I believe they're equally as liberal, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because they have, you know, people like Shep Smith on there, Juan Williams.
Yeah.
And they'll let those guys just go on and on.
They do.
And Fox News isn't the greatest at putting positive news about Trump on there. To be honest.
No, but at least they're not totally negative, because, I mean, you have Tucker Carlson, you have Waters World, you have, who's my favorite? I think it's Gut
Hannity?
GG. No, GG. Got Greg Field or whatever.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah. And the way I see it is, I think I see it the same way you do, is that they didn't really have a choice, because I think that, well, the networks are in charge of it. So I think what Fox did was say, well, look, everybody's going left, no one's taking right. So they care about views, they care about ratings. So they're like, we're going to try and take the more conservative, I think, approach to it, and more fair approach. But you're right, because they do have those other liberal people on there. But in my opinion, I think they're put on there for just an objective opinion. You know what I mean? You have to have someone with some kind of objective opinion, because the way Juan just goes on and on, like you said, I can't possibly think that he believes all that stuff. I think he's there.
Well,
He's being paid to do that objective opinion. Like, that's what he does. He's got to think of something, right?
Well, listen, just like I was talking about with the Brett Kavanaugh hearing, they have to block Brett Kavanaugh, because they need that Supreme Court to get their legislation through. It's because these people are nuts. Nobody wants what they want, these laws passed.
Yeah.
So the only thing they can do is put a left-wing judge in the Supreme Court and have the majority so that they can legislate from the bench, which is not how the Supreme Court was intended, obviously.
No.
You're supposed to have objective justices on there that follow the Constitution, not liberal activists.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, like Juan Williams, for instance, though, that I don't see how anyone could take that guy seriously, or any of these people like that. Have you ever sat and tried to watch CNN or MSNBC for like more than 5 minutes?
I
feel like my brain is melting.
I feel like I see the brainwashing, but I don't even hear words coming out of their mouth anymore. All I hear is blah blah blah. You're stupid. Listen to us. Blah blah blah. You're stupid. Listen to us. Right. Repeated over and over again. Because every single time I hear something in the background, because it'll be either like a lot of the baby boomers. If I go over to like my parents' place or whatever, my mother, unfortunately, loves listening to CNN, but that's the way it is over here. It's a lot of liberal people, and it's a lot of people listening to mainstream media. And I hear it in the background, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's so falsified what you just said. You know what I mean? Because I know the fact. I looked at it. I'm like, oh, the president said this, the president said that. And I'm like, no, he didn't. I listened to his rallies. I know it. Like, I am armed to the teeth about political information about Donald Trump. Okay, so don't even try that crap with me, right? Like, yeah, I am right up there. So I'm like, no, I just listened to what he said, and he said nothing like that. So it's I'm like, I can't believe they falsify like everything that you're saying. And then of course they come up with the videos. I'm pretty sure you saw the videos too. My favorite one is when CNN actually had their own cameraman act as though he was some kind of political protester. You see that one? That just takes the cake right there. It was their own cameraman, and even the anchor said, I know that guy, that's George Smith or whatever his name is. He's actually a cameraman here for CNN. And it was just like, what?
Well, they do that stuff all the time. You heard the thing about Anderson Cooper in the hurricane.
Yeah.
It wasn't even near where the hurricane was. He was just in some deep water standing there.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I know. Well, they keep getting caught. It's like they're the most bumbling oafs ever.
And I
tripping over themselves.
That's why I say, how can anybody watch this? I'm like, I say, all you got to do is look on YouTube, and I'm like, you can see them completely falsifying stories, completely lying about where they are, what they're doing, getting actors, they're trusted. What do they call them? They're not their supporters, they're sources, they're trusted sources, right? Which is all bull. It's all bull, because it's all disproven, it's all proven so many times that there's such a fraud, right? But anyway,
it's always an anonymous source that comes out of nowhere. Breaking news.
Yeah,
it's like, come on. It's not organic at all.
No.
Like with these sexual sexual assault allegations that were coming out against Brett Kavanaugh. It's just like breaking news. Another woman has come out. It all happened like so orchestrated. You could tell.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. The liberals are, I think. Well, the Democrats actually are tapping into people's mental illness. And their paranoia, and they're projecting that onto society, I believe. Honestly, it's a little scary, even though we laugh about it and it provides us endless entertainment.
Yeah, but it is.
You have to wonder where this ends, or where this escalates to.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. It is funny, like to watch. It is entertaining, but yeah, it is scary because technically it hasn't, like, it's happened to me. It's I don't want to say trickled down, but it has come over here, even to Canada. Like I said, because our politics is boring, and most of the time we don't watch it. But here up in Canada, we watch the American politics because it's entertaining, it's exciting. Well, it hasn't been during the Obama administration. Like Trump has made politics
you need a Canadian
entertaining
Trump
again. Oh, I know, so bad. But
Trudeau is. What is with that guy? And I've seen.
It's an
Take this for what
embarrassment.
it is.
It is such an embarrassment to Canada. Let me tell you right now, okay? I'm apologizing to you. I'm apologizing to the entire American population right now on behalf of Canada, okay? I did not vote for him. He was voted in, get this, solely on like his looks. It was a popularity contest. He got so many women's votes just because he was attractive, more so than anything, that like put him over the top, that made him get in there. And that in my mind is like the biggest embarrassment, because it's almost the same thing as voting for Hillary Clinton just because she was a woman. You know what I mean? That's the only reason. If you had Hillary Clinton as president right now, it would only just because of all of the people who voted for her just because she'd be the first female president. It's kind of like the same thing. They didn't vote him in for his policies, for anything. Like, listen to the way he talks. He's a master of like, I'm not gonna say everything bad about him. I try to say one good thing about him, and one good thing is that he is a master of the pivot tactic. When you talk to him and you question him about anything, and I've heard it in politics, he is so good at turning it around. You know what I mean? He flips the script so easily in his favor that he's like a true master of it. But it's
surely,
it's still terrible.
Justin Trudeau, much like Obama, has probably read Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals, to learn all these different tactics.
Oh, for sure.
I've also, to take this with a grain of salt, I don't know how true this is. I mean, there's no evidence. I mean, there's evidence, but no confirmation on it that Trudeau is actually Castro's son. Because there's pictures of his mom with Castro around the time that he would have been born.
Yeah.
And he looks, if you put a picture of them right up next to each other, they look very similar.
It's true.
He does not look like his real dad.
I don't know how much, like, it's true that he looks like him, but I don't know how much truth is in, behind the history of his family or anything like that, right? All I know is that he's probably, it's really tough because he may get voted out and he may not, because what people are looking at, what he's doing is not exactly great for our country, and I love the way Trump just comes in there, and especially recently with the NAFTA and the dairy farmers and all that kind of stuff. I love the way Trump goes in here and it's just like, oh my God, what, Canada? What, Trudeau? That little punk? No, we're gonna do this. Like, get out of the way. And then what does Trudeau do? He doesn't even put up any fight whatsoever. It's just yeah, I think this is gonna be really good for Canada. Like.
Well, it's because of the overall effect that the United States has on the world's markets.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we pretty much control them in the palm of our hands.
Mm-hmm. And more so than ever now, I think.
Right. Yes, absolutely. I think control of the markets was kind of being consolidated to China, and now that power is kind of be pulling back to the United States now with the tariffs and everything.
And that's fantastic, because a lot of stuff that I bought was from China if I bought it from eBay or bought it from Amazon or something like that, because of the prices. And then recently I started seeing more and more things that were actually affordable that said made in America. Like, I went down to Cabela's, and I didn't even buy this online. I went down to Cabela's and I bought a new camping knife from them. It was the Gerber. The Gerber Strong Arm, and it was totally affordable. And you can see right on the blade, that thing is entirely manufactured and made in America. Steel in America, made in America, 100%. Says right on it, Orlando or something like that. I can't remember, but all made in America, totally affordable. And more things that I've bought have actually said that on them as well. So I can even see I notice a difference even now in just consuming products, where before it wasn't. Like, I would say, I don't know, about 4 or 5 years ago or something like that, there wasn't really anything that said made in America on it at all. But now I can see even more and more things that are, and I'm actually quite surprised, because everything that I've bought has been fantastic. Everything I've bought from China has been garbage.
Well, yeah, they use cheap materials. I mean, and it's slave labor. Those people, they're forced to work, I don't know, 16, 18-hour days every day.
Yeah.
They put suicide nets outside their factories and stuff.
And the quality.
So the people won't jump to their doom
Yeah.
To escape it. But I think this is the main reason Trump was elected, was to, like I said, make America great again.
Make America
Bring the
first.
power back to us.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, make America first, bring it back. He's brought back manufacturers. Okay, I want to talk about this. This is funny because they never talk about this. They never talk about all of the good things that Trump has done. Okay, right off the top of my list. Oh, my phone's going off in the background, but the right on the top of my list, I would say, what is it? 4 million, I think he said, plus jobs now created. Okay, black unemployment lowest in history. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of these statistics. Multiple companies coming back. Is an Apple building new manufacturing plants, etc. Ford, etc., bringing them back. North Korea. Like, do I need to go on? How come none of this stuff has ever get talked about in the like amongst the media or amongst most people, and especially like if you're debating somebody, Democrat or liberal, they never talk about those things at all.
Well, I think we both know the answer to that,
Yeah.
but we'll dive into this. Um, the media cannot give legitimacy to Trump's presidency because they've been trashing him all along,
Yeah.
trying to make him look as bad. They know that once people figure it out, that everyone is going to turn on them, because they can't keep the charade up forever. That's just
No,
set in
they're
stone.
exposing themselves right now. They're exposing themselves more
Exactly.
than ever with the Kavanaugh thing. Like if we don't like you, you know what I mean? Like, it's going really bad mob mentality. I even watched Tucker Carlson talk about it too, because they're even trying to flip it around. They're always trying to flip everything around. It's crazy.
Yes.
It's like the protesters, well, so okay, quote unquote protesters walking down the streets with masks on, saying they have signs that say peaceful protest, and we are doing a peaceful protest, as they're punching people in the face and spitting on
Yeah.
people and stuff like that, like, but they want to say that it's the extreme right wing, they're the violent ones, they're the racist, they're the ones causing all the problem. And I go, where? You only need to pick up your phone for 5 seconds on YouTube, for 1 minute on YouTube, and look at who's doing the riots, who's doing the destruction. I haven't seen anybody. Where are all these white supremacists? Where's all this KKK members? Like,
Yeah.
where's all these neo-Nazis? I don't even know what a neo-Nazi. I've never think that I've even seen one. But
No.
you're calling the majority of the
They're
public
probably in prison.
neo-Nazis.
They're probably in prison. That's where the neo-Nazis are.
Yeah.
If there is any, they're going to be sitting in prison.
But if you're wearing this hat that I got over here, if you're wearing the Make America Great Again hat, you are a Nazi. You are a racist.
Which,
it's ridiculous.
again, completely exposes their hypocrisy. Who is the party? Or first of all, we'll make it even more simple than that. Donald Trump, is he pro-Israel or against Israel? I would say he's pretty pro-Israel, considering he moved the embassy to Jerusalem, something that the past presidents have been promising.
Yeah, they don't like to talk about that.
No, they don't like to talk about that. And whereas the Democrats tend to be more pro-Palestinian. So, which is more Nazi-like, in your opinion?
Oh, don't even get me started. What's more Nazi-like? How about putting on masks and look at the color coordination? Look at their symbol. Have you seen the Antifa symbol? Have you seen the what is it? The anarchist symbols that represent them? Why do those look? I mean, they're the Nazi colors. They're the Hitler flag. What do you call it? The swastika colors. Even they're like black and red, and a little bit of white. They look. They
project what they are onto everyone else, and then say, stop racism and Nazism, and then they'll club you. It's like, there's no reason to it. It makes no sense.
Yeah, stop fascism, but they're the fascists. It's the most bizarre, it literally is the most bizarre thing that I've ever seen in my life, is you doing what you are, like, if you're saying that you're punching, it's hard for me even to explain it. It's so bizarre. You're saying that you're punching fascist in the face, that you're anti-fascist, but you're using fascist tactics on people who aren't even fascists. That makes
Absolutely.
you the fascist. Like, don't you get it? They must get it. I can't possibly believe. See, the way I see it is, this is my theory, that this is a combination of things on their side. Okay, this is a combination of people who really are crazy and believe this crap, other people who are brainwashed, other people who are just bored and want attention, and other people who are actually paid by like George Soros or whatever. I mean, it's proven already that they do get, these are paid protesters, paid rioters who actually do this stuff. So I think it's actually a combination of all those things put together, so that it makes it even more, convoluted and more confusing to even understand.
Well, they are very similar to the brown shirts of the
Yeah.
Weimar Republic, in Germany,
Yeah, and
right before the
they're
World War
exactly
II
like them.
started. I mean, they're basically the Nazis, and then they say we're the Nazis. I mean, they go and pull some 70-year-old man out of his car and club him and say, "Get out of here, Nazi!"
Yeah,
And
I've seen that. I've seen them
I
all. They're
mean,
just so, it's disgusting, But the ones that I do like,
yeah.
my favorite are like that Berkeley one, or the other one when it was, the police stepped aside and basically everyone had to, hash it out for themselves. And and the Antifa side, they never win when it comes to a real confrontation.
Oh.
What's that guy that was knocking?
Punching him in the face
Yeah,
and
that
knocking him
yeah,
out
was
left and
that
right.
not, yeah, that guy from Proud Boys. Oh, I really should
That
know
guy
his
was
name.
awesome.
Yeah, that keeps knocking people out. Rufio from the Proud
Yeah,
Boys.
Rufio.
Yeah,
He had to
oh
change
my
his
God.
name so they wouldn't find him, but
I know. And then there's that, yeah, okay, we can't beat you in a straight up fight. So now what, we're going to like go after your job and dox you
oh
and
yeah.
all this low, disgusting crap. It really, really is. It's the bottom of the barrel when it comes to anything. See, you can't beat them in any type of fight. Like, you can't beat the right on a fight. Like, if you want it, like, and it was basically harmless. One guy got hit in the head with a bottle or whatever. The way I saw it, it was like a good old fashioned skin rumble. You know what I mean? Put down the weapons, put up your dukes, and you know what I mean? Hash it out, fight it out, and let's just see
Yeah.
who actually wins that one, right? Because you guys are the ones who are trying to act so tough all the time.
Well, they're bullies. I mean, it's just
They
bullies
try
in,
to
in
be.
mob form. None of them can fight. Most of them are wearing skinny jeans. I mean, these look like pampered suburban kids from California,
I really want to.
up there in Oregon and stuff.
I really want to find the person who invented that skinny jeans trend or whatever. Oh
Yeah.
man. It's
Why is
terrible.
it still around?
Oh
I
my God,
mean,
it's terrible. You know what I mean? It's a combination of things. It's drinking too much soy drink. It's full of estrogen.
yes.
It's all these males. It's serious. It's all these males, because those are girl pants. I don't care. I don't care who you are if you're wearing them.
Yeah.
Okay, those are women's pants. They wore skinny jeans first. Why are you wearing skinny jeans? It's terrible. I want to know any young female. I want to talk to any. I guess it'd be Generation Z now. I want to talk to a 16-year-old, 17-year-old girl and ask her, do you really think that looks attractive? Like, do you really? Then
Well, the
why are
emo
these
crowd
men
probably does.
Oh my God, why are they wearing them? Yeah, but you're
Well,
right though.
I think it's just another example of the attack on straight men, particularly straight white Christian men in
Yeah.
our country. They're really being demonized right now, and like we're all rapists and Nazis, and it's like, whoa, when did this happen?
Yeah.
I'll tell you when it happened. It happened during Obama's presidency, because no one was ever called that before Obama became president, if you notice.
Yeah, oh yeah, big time. Terrible. No, I know. And you mentioned that they're bullies, and what's funny to me is they're bullies, but they're bullies from, like, how do I want to use the word? You're like a skinny geek. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm only 135 pounds myself. You know what I mean? But like, when I see someone like that, I'm just like, well, you're just some kind of guy who just sits around, all day and plays video games or something like that. And then you want to come out here and then you want to act like you're this tough guy or something like that. Well, I'll show you a tough guy. You know what I mean? And then Rufio and then the Proud Boys come out like real You know what I mean? Like knock you out guys. I'm just like, you're crazy to try to take them on, and you're going to try and bully everyone else. So what they do is they look for weakness, and that's why you notice them always taking on someone who's like, you know what I mean? Like you said, like the elderly, like it's old people
Yeah,
and stuff. And
right.
I'm like,
Or women.
yeah, I'm like, how disgusting can you be? Yeah, that one girl who got maced in the face, and that other woman in front of the doors who couldn't get into that building, and they started throwing eggs and rocks at her and stuff. It's
They were
disgusting.
throwing fake grenades.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, and
That's
those M80s or whatever, and they put those in bottles, and they throw those, and they explode, and they try to get glass. Really disgusting stuff. I even saw one of them. I don't know if you've seen this one. They have those flashing lights and the high-powered flashing strobe lights that they stick in people's faces so that they can, if you're suffering from epilepsy or anything like that, it's supposed to give you epileptic seizures. Who does
Oh my
that?
gosh.
Who does
I don't
that?
know. I didn't even know of that one. I hadn't heard of that yet.
Yeah, and I'm
It
like,
doesn't surprise me in the least.
no.
I mean, I guess they were throwing urine and feces at people too.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like that's what they want to turn the United States into is San Francisco and just have poop all over the ground and people laying around doing heroin. I think that's really what they want.
Yeah, well,
They want
welcome to where I live right now. I mean, we have even right here where I live, which is Vancouver Island, and the very city that I live in, Nanaimo, we have one of the highest epidemics right now with the fentanyl crisis. There are people everywhere. I can just drive out of my house going to mail some parcels, and I can see people already out on the streets. You know what I mean? They've got their signs, they're begging for change, and they're dying in record numbers. I think I can't remember what it was. It was a thousand. It's a thousand every I don't know, few months or every year or something like that, dropping off in record numbers. And then, Justin Trudeau and stuff like that, they don't know what to do with it. And they're like, oh, we're trying to do something about it. And they don't know what to do about it. No one knows what to do about it. And nothing really gets done. But
well, I
guess
don't
that's
believe
what
they're
they
trying
want.
to do anything about it. When you promote illegal immigration and things like that, nobody can really take you seriously on tackling the drug epidemic.
Yeah.
Having open borders will lead to drugs pouring in and criminals pouring in. So
Yeah.
I don't take any of the liberals seriously unless they're really going to seriously talk about sealing up the borders and really cracking down on the illegals coming in here.
Yeah, because it's okay. This is where we're going to be a little bit different because we're way up here in Canada. So we basically only have
Right.
one border, you guys, right? So you're below us, and that is essentially, like we don't have no big wall or anything because we don't need it. You don't have a problem up here in Canada, but we're surrounded by water. There's no one else around us, and up here in Canada is basically just bush, ice, and snow, right? So we go down to the States. But below you have Mexico. And then in Mexico is wide open because Mexico is attached to so many other people coming into Mexico with whatever they want, guns, drugs, whatever. And then they're coming across the border to the United States through the south. So
Right.
you guys have so much more of a problem. It's hard for Canadians to understand because, I talk to them and I try to educate them on it. And they're just like you said, they're all this open borders, pro-immigration, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you don't know, okay? You're up here in Canada. We don't have the problem. Like we have tons of Syrian refugees flooding in here.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. We haven't had any problem with it yet, but it's early, you know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. But over the southern border, that's nothing because the southern border is a non-stop, what do you want to call it? River of drugs, guns,
Yes.
prostitution, rape,
Murder.
gang members, murder. Like you have no idea. And I'm not talking to
Cartel.
you. I'm talking to other Canadians. When I'm talking to them, I go, you have no idea how bad it really is down there. I mean, go down there. I dare you. Spend some time down there. That's what I say. You've never been there. I've been there. I've been to Tijuana. I've been to Mexico. I've gone across the border, and it was an experience. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
it was an eye-opening experience.
Well, people in Canada would be foolish to think that the illegal immigration in the United States does not affect them. because they will come here, and then some of them will go into Canada,
Oh yeah, it
for
definitely
sure.
does. Definitely
And
affects
that's
us.
where the drugs come from. So
Yep.
it's definitely having a small runoff effect on you guys up there, I would believe.
Oh yeah.
Especially with Trudeau saying, "Yeah, anybody can come here.
Yeah.
Come on in."
Yeah,
You know,
that is the part that that probably scares me the most, because I am witnessing more and more of it. Like if you went to Vancouver right now, and this has been happening and getting even worse and worse. I moved away from Vancouver because I couldn't stand it anymore. If you go to certain parts of Vancouver, and if you go to East Vancouver, you don't need to take a vacation to China. Just go to East Vancouver, and that's what I tell everyone, because it's quite surprising. That's all you see is nothing but Asians. Tons,
yeah.
tons, tons. You don't see anybody white. You don't see anybody black. You don't see anybody Mexican. You don't see any other ethnicities. It's all Asian, and it's totally dominated that way. And, I'm not talking in point of like a racial point of view or anything. I'm just stating a fact, because when I go down there, I'm quite amazed every single time I take a trip down there. Like if you go to the mall, it's shoulder to shoulder, like it's even crowded like it is in China. Like it's shoulder to shoulder, and everybody is you're like the only, I don't want to say like white person, you're like the only white person there, right? So it's actually quite amazing. But that's the way it is, that with the, if you want to say like the open borders. And now if you go to certain places, it's more and more Syrians you're seeing, and it's more and more Persians, and it's more and more I want to say, what is it, Middle Eastern? So it's a lot, it's
Yeah.
Middle Eastern dominated, and there's a lot of burqas, and we're seeing more and more people. In Toronto, it's really bad. I mean, you can just watch like Lauren Southern and see what's going on in Toronto is even crazier, right? And they're walking around, and they've got not the hijabs, but what's the full black garment that the women wear with the masks and
Oh, the
everything?
burqa or the
The whole black ensemble, like the whole thing from top to bottom.
oh, I can't remember what it's called, to
But
be
you know what I'm
honest.
talking about, right? They're
Yes, I do.
Yeah, they're all wearing those and everything like that out there. And this is Canada. This is Toronto. So I'm saying it's like you're losing. I mean, we're a multicultural country, but I mean, we got to have some kind of, what is it, sovereignty, or you got to have some kind
Yes.
of what Canada is, and that's not Canada. That's the Middle East. Like that's Iraq or that's Iran or whatever, right? That's not here.
Well, for many years, the United States cut off immigration to a very small amount, to give all of the people coming from Ireland and Italy and stuff time to assimilate here. Because if you don't give them that time, they likely won't assimilate.
Correct. Yep.
If you mass migrate people from other parts of the world, they tend to bring their political beliefs and things over here, things that aren't desirable, in my opinion. If you're getting people out of the Middle East, obviously, I don't think anybody in Canada or the United States wants to be living under a government like Iran, where it's a theocratical dictatorship
No.
and the women have no rights. But it's very bizarre that people think this is a great idea, because we know what the real reason is. It isn't because they feel bad for these people or something. It's so they can replace the voters.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's what they want to do.
100%. That is exactly what it's about. And it's funny that you would mention that it is about assimilation, totally. Like I'm all for immigrants, fantastic. You know what I mean? Like I have immigrant
Yes.
friends, whatever. We're multicultural. That's great and everything. But they come over and they love Canada. They love going to the hockey games. They love dressing like us. They like putting on the hockey jerseys, whatever. They like to wave the Canadian flag. Like you don't have to be totally patriotic, but you can see the difference between assimilation and then non-assimilation. You can see full groups of families, full groups of communities come over here. They don't want to learn English. They don't care about English. They only care about the Muslim religion, etc., and they just keep to themselves and they don't assimilate. So you basically have brought your country over here to Canada. You didn't come to Canada because you love Canada, and here you just came here for the benefits, but you still want to keep your way of life and everything like that, which is not us, right? Because it doesn't. What I think they said, what is it? The Muslim religion doesn't doesn't conform well to Western society beliefs, right? Isn't that how it goes? Or it's the
Right.
Middle Eastern beliefs don't conform to Western beliefs because of their religion,
Well,
et cetera, et cetera.
many of them were their mortal enemy, the people of the
Oh yeah,
West. A lot of their teaching is to invade the West and take it over.
yeah, because we're
Um,
infidels, right? To them, we're infidels,
exactly.
and its majority is a Christian, Catholic, Jewish, Judea, whatever society, right? So they don't like that.
Right. So if you keep importing people like that, I mean, yes, there's going to be lots of them that are good people. I would have no argument with that.
Oh yeah,
Most of them are
tons,
probably peaceful.
tons. Lots of them are
But that
friends of mine.
ideology is mixed in there, and you're bound to import many that want to destroy America and people that they are not afraid of death themselves. That's how these people are brought up, to kill us in any way they can,
Yep.
even if it means sacrificing themselves
Yep,
in the
and
process.
it's true. Okay, people who are listening to the video right now, thinking that we're a couple of nutballs for saying that. Let me tell you a personal story of mine. There was a guy that I worked with at Honda when I worked for Honda, he was a Persian, I believe, or he was Middle Eastern. He spoke
Well, I
perfect
believe those are
English.
Iranians now,
Yeah,
right?
Iranians. Yeah, and he spoke perfect English, you know what I mean, and everything was fine with him. He seemed like a great guy. We got along excellent. It seemed like he totally assimilated, but there was something funny about him because every single time we're having a conversation with him, he kept talking about real radical stuff. Like he knew how to make bombs. He's like, yeah, I know how to make a pipe bomb, and I know how to make this, how to make a bomb big enough to blow up a building, blah, blah, blah. And we get all excited about it. And I'm like, okay, that's funny. I'm laughing at him, whatever. But he was serious about it. And he kept going on and on about it every single time I was talking to him. He would say stuff like, yeah, do you know how to make, you can get an AK-47 semi-automatic, here in Canada, and I could show you how to make it fully automatic. And I'm just like, dude, that's just knowledge that I do not need. Like who needs knowledge? Like here in Canada, I don't need a fully automatic AK-47. What am I going to do with that? You know what I mean? Like, what do you get?
Yeah.
Like, what are you getting at here, man? Like,
Well,
if
you
I
can
had
get
something
arrested.
like that, arrested, I'll be thrown in jail. You can't even have, like, we don't have Second Amendment here. You can't even have a handgun here, out of the question. You will get thrown in jail like you're an absolute criminal right away, even just for having one.
What are you allowed to have, a rifle or a bolt action rifle of some sort,
We're
or single
allowed.
shot?
We're essentially allowed to have pretty much all the same types of rifles that you guys are allowed to have there, except we can't just go in and get them like you guys do. I know you got the background checks and all that kind of stuff, but we have something different here. We have a whole licensing course, and it's quite expensive. It's like $400, a whole licensing course that you have to go through with teachers and stuff like that. So it's almost like a little college course, and then they'll give you your license to buy firearms, but they're non-restrictive firearms. So restricted firearms out here include handguns and pistols and everything like that. Now, if you do that, then now all of a sudden the RCMP get involved. That's our police up here, like our feds up here. They get involved and they want to know everything about you at that point in time. And now there are all the rules that you have to obey while having a handgun, and that is that it has to be literally locked up in a safe at all times. And if you're carrying it from point A to point B, like to a gun range, which is pretty much the only place you could use it, it has to be like locked up in a locked case with no ammunition, blah, blah, blah. So they do everything they possibly can to discourage you from getting a handgun for any purpose whatsoever.
Right. And that's scary to me as an American, because we've always had the Second Amendment here.
And if
The
it's
thought
taken
of
away,
the
then it'll
government
happen
not
to you.
allowing you. What's that? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If it's taken away, the same thing will happen to you. I'm telling you right now, on behalf of Canada, that's what's going to happen. They will, when they say we don't want, when the Democrats and Liberals say we don't want to take all your guns away, we just want to do this and this and that, it's a lie. They are making steps
Absolutely.
towards making it like Canada. If Canada could, Canada would also take all the guns away. But you guys are lucky because not only do you have the Second Amendment, you have the NRA, and you have a lot of Americans who are protecting themselves so they can rise up. We've already been broken. We're done. Like, Canadians are taking example from us. We're done. We're broken. We can't do that anymore.
which God forbid you get a tyranny in your government that's strong enough to impose some kind of martial law or something on
We
you,
can't do
and
anything
then
about
you
it.
could be put into communism or whatever.
Yeah, we
And how would you ever defend yourself against it?
can't. You can't even defend yourself. You can't even defend your life. When I watch Canadian news, some nutcase has a shotgun. It's not an AR-15. It's not an AK-47. It's just a shotgun. He's a disgruntled employee, walks into his work and shoots and kills 5 people and wounds 9 others. What can any of them do about it? Absolutely nothing, because none of us can protect ourselves against that. Like I said, it's not that hard. If you're determined enough, you can get a rifle, you can get a gun, and so it is possible to get it, but it's not that easy or possible to get, let's say, anything that would be like a little handgun, like a little Walther or anything like that, just to protect yourself at all. So that's all you see. Right. You're at the mercy of the bad guy with the gun. You can't protect yourself. You're basically dead.
Right. Which, brings me to the gun-free zones, which are obviously a Democrat policy that's been in there since the 90s.
Oh, my God.
I believe under Bill Clinton. And you've seen the school shootings rise considerably since then. But, you can't bring up those facts to the Democrats because they don't want to hear them.
No.
They just say, well, we need more gun control. Well, gun control doesn't work so well on people that don't follow the law in the first place.
No, and they never have any answer for that.
Right. You're just restricting the law-abiding people to not have guns. And like they attack the AR-15 all the time, and it's not even the most powerful rifle that you can get, semi-automatic rifle. There's plenty that are, more killing capable, you know what I mean?
It's a stupid argument.
That you can get legally.
It's a stupid argument.
What's that?
It's a stupid argument about the AR-15. I'm sick of hearing about it because they constantly bring it up and they call it the AK-15. Like, they don't know anything about firearms. Educate yourself on firearms. It's not rocket science. It's pretty damn easy. You've got all these people that playing video games all the time. I mean, they're in everything, you know what I mean? Like, if you play Call of Duty and you don't know the difference between fully automatic and semi-automatic, you're brain dead. Like, it's everywhere. It's so simple. If you strip down an AR, it's nothing. It's like, I could put it. Steven Crowder did the same thing, but I do the exact same thing too when I explain it to people. I go, you look at this hunting rifle right here. Look, it's got a wood stock on it, but it's got a clip on it. It's semi-automatic. It's a hunting rifle, right? Because it looks like a hunting rifle. Yes. And then here's the AR-15 below it. Tell me what the difference between the two is. And they got nothing. They come up with something that's just not factually correct. Like, oh, you can just pull the trigger faster
the AR-15
on that, right?
Looks like an M16. Yes. It looks like an army rifle or a service rifle for the military. So people get all freaked out about it, and for some reason it's the popular model of all the mass shooters. I'll leave the conspiracy theories out of this, but I believe those people might be set up to do something like that with the AR-15 just so they can impose gun control on everyone. But, I have no proof, obviously, so that's just my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's the most popular rifle. I mean, I don't blame the rifle. I mean, it's always the anti-gun people that are talking about what type of firearm it is. It's always them bringing it up. It's always and I go, it's not, because if the people who are getting shot over here in Canada, I look at what they're getting shot with. It's shotguns. It's a semi-automatic hunting rifle. I mean, you can do just as much damage with it. You go in, they just go in and they just start blasting people with it, right? So they don't really understand that it has really nothing to do with the actual machine itself, because it's an inanimate object. It doesn't kill on its own. It's the person who's behind it. And you can do that with anything. You could do that with a truck. You can run people over. I could go out and I could buy a nail gun and start shooting people with it, probably do some damage, like, it depends on the person. It's not the actual, it's not the item.
Right. Well, the thing that annoys me is when they say that, nobody needs an assault rifle.
And then you say, what is an assault
It's not
rifle?
even an assault rifle.
Yeah, no, it's not.
But second of all, who are you to say what I need to defend myself or my family? I might need a rifle. Maybe I need something with higher ammo capacity. What if multiple people attack my house? What if a roving gang of thugs is coming through? You think a little handgun is going to take care of all of them
Yeah.
if they have superior weaponry than you? Um, really, their arguments, none of them really make sense, but they just go with them anyway and like presume that they do make sense
Mm-hmm.
and project it onto everyone.
Mm-hmm, exactly, and that you would say that. Well, I'm a strong believer in. I would rather have it and not use it than need it and not have it. So a prime example of that would be here out in Surrey. We've had well, there was a huge crime wave of houses being home invaded. Okay, and I personally have been home invaded myself, and let me tell you, it's a scary situation. It's you
Absolutely.
seem very, very helpless at that point. You know, I'm kind of just like, well, what can I do? I can just let them do whatever they want at this point because I can't really do anything about it. I'm here by myself, right? So that's the way it goes, you know. So if you don't have anything, you know, like you said, if you have it, you know, like if you have something to defend yourself with in your home, at least you can do something about it. Because here's another statistic that no one talks about, and I don't even think there is a statistic for it because it's way too high, is they never talk about how many times just the presence of a firearm or just you showing your firearm have stopped that crime or whatever from happening. You don't have to shoot someone. We're not saying, oh yeah, you got to come out and just start shooting people like that. No, even just showing it. I've heard so many stories online about them just flashing, saying, I have a firearm, I'm defending myself. That situation is over immediately. That guy's out of
Yeah.
there. Okay, unless he's a
Yeah. They're not going to want to mess around with
they're not
somebody
going to want to mess around
who
with
can
you. No,
shoot them.
no, they're not going to want to
I
mess
mean,
around with you.
nobody has. I mean, there might be a very small percentage of insane people that they would still come at
Oh
you,
yeah,
but obviously they're going to go down if they do that.
yeah,
So
but like I said, I think the statistic is so high that it's just, you know, it's just something that's not recorded either, because it's like, how often are you ever going to record, you know what I mean? You just being like, this guy's
well,
getting aggressive trying to come into my house. I show him that I have a gun and he's gone, right?
it'd probably be hard to compile the information in order to make a statistic for it, and obviously they're not going to want to have a statistic because it goes against the anti-gun narrative.
Oh yeah.
Um, but
Which
I think there probably would be some kind of private people that would do the statistics on it, but of course that would be
I'd love to
shunned.
see them. I'd love to
Right? Yeah,
see
I
them.
would love to
It'd
see
be
it
pretty
too.
damn
I'm
high.
sure it's even if it's one person, it's better than no people. I mean, uh, you know what I'm saying? If one person was able to scare somebody off by showing them their gun,
Hmm.
I mean that's a good thing in my
Yep.
opinion.
I call it diffusing the situation. The situation is done before it got any worse, because it could have got worse.
Absolutely.
You know, like you watch it
Right.
all the time.
Right.
It
But
could have got worse.
well, the only problem is the guy gets away, or maybe you could do a citizen's arrest or something on him. But if they do get away from you pulling your gun out and they go terrorize someone else, that's not good. But
Hmm.
obviously, they're going to do that anyway if you're the victim. So one way or another, I mean, they're going to get out there and commit those crimes.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's the way it is up here with that. So, you know, I am
Right.
quite envious, you know, like lots of people say, you know what I mean? Like I have to confirm to some people, they're like, oh, what, you're a Trump supporter, but I thought you were Canadian, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I have to say, well, I am Canadian, but I like to think of myself as an American at heart. Like I'm envious of the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. I'm envious of your president. You know, I'm envious of the
Yeah.
whole way of life in America, and especially the way it's going right now, right? So
Yeah.
I think we'll just end it. I think we'll end this one now. We've gone on for a while. I think we made a pretty good video, but
Almost an hour now.
oh, perfect. So yeah.
Yep.
Thanks a lot for being on, Nick, and I hope to have you on again, and we'll talk some more.
Hey, thanks for having me. Talk to you soon.
Cool.
Bye.